From the same courthouse where O.J. was once found not guilty comes another grave miscarriage of justice. Attorney Graham Barry explains.
First of all, the judge heard our motion to disqualify him. He denied it summarily, and I now have 10 days in which to appeal it. I believe an appeal by way of a writ of mandate will be successful. If it's not, that is not the end of the day. If it is successful, the judge's decision on the vexatious litigant petition will be reversed.
Graham's case revolves around this man, Robert Cipriano, whom Scientology had convinced to sign a false affidavit back in 1994.
In 1994, I was approached by an investigator named Eugene Ingram in my home in New York City. He proceeded to harass and intimidate me to create a declaration or to sign a declaration that was false, and it was against Graham Barry. I did not hear again from Mr. Ingram for 2 years. I moved out to Los Angeles. He got in touch with me and began to explain to me that Mr. Barry was suing me for the contents of my declaration, that I needed to meet his boss. It was at that time I met Mr. Maxon. Mr. Maxon then identified himself as a church attorney, Church of Scientology attorney. It was thereafter that every aspect of my life was paid for. Hundreds of thousands of dollars were exchanged to me from the church, from Mr. Maxon, to continue the lies of the declaration. Once again, I lead to the fact that a month and a half ago I decided I couldn't live with myself anymore at whatever costs me personally, keep that lie going. And since then I've also seen and researched a great deal about many aspects of Scientology, and it disgusts me, and the lie continues even to today.
Did you know anything about Scientology when Ingram first came to you?
No, I did not.
How long was it before you discovered that there was any connection to the Church of Scientology?
It was approximately 2 years later.
And how did you discover that?
Mr. Maxon told me that he represented the Church of Scientology. He was the chief litigator, in-house.
And they set you up with a job at Earthlink.
Yes, they did. Mr. Maxon felt it would be, since I was an entrepreneur, Mr. Maxon decided it would be better if I was working in the context of the case. So he contacted Sky Dayton, who's the chairman of the board of Earthlink Network, and had me hired there immediately, even though they weren't hiring anybody. I was placed in the dial-up sales. And while I was there, I realized that most of the employees there are Scientologists, at least in the sales division and in the securities division. I was told how how Earthlink was formed, who funded it, and the type of surveillance they had and that they conduct upon the internet. To quote a gentleman who works at Earthlink, it was Sky's way of watching over the internet from within the internet. I was told, and I saw of a building that was next door to their main building, which nobody has access to. It's highly secured out in Pasadena, California, which is where all the surveillance and internal operations go on. There's certain very evident things when you work in Earthlink on the T1s and T2 lines. For example, all of my emails from within, on my account at Earthlink, from within Earthlink, and from outside of Earthlink, whenever I would send them, normally they reach the person you're sending them to within tops a minute. Mine would be held for 12 hours. So if I sent something to Graham from right across the street, it would take 12 hours for him it would show up on his screen, which meant that it was going into a monitoring place, being read, reviewed, and issued out. And this is constant still to today.
It was clear that the judge ruled contrary to the weight of the evidence. And it was telling that the judge could not ascertain why I was addressing the contents of the Cipriano Declaration. It interested me and stunned me that he asked why the Cipriano Declaration was even relevant to the proceedings. I told the judge that the Cipriano Declaration evidenced the polluting, tainting, and corrupting of the entire proceedings from the get-go. It did not seem to be of interest to the judge, who concluded his ruling by suggesting that it was not what I had done as a litigant, but the way I had done it. I believe that standing against this organization, it is almost a badge of honor to be declared vexatious. And I intend to continue litigating against them and to continue vexing them.
My main concern today is that Mr. Moxon, Mr. Rosen, Mr. Sauter, the three attorneys that represented me in one aspect or another against Mr. Berry, have all of my files and all of my personal belongings and have refused whatsoever to return them to me after being substituted over 10 days ago. I find this highly irregular, and I don't know the law well enough to know whether it's illegal, but I want my belongings back because there's also a great deal of evidence, and I hope that they don't destroy it.
They at one point leased a car for you, right?
Yes, they did. 1999 Saturn.
And what happened to that car?
The day that everybody was given notice of my declaration, or a portion of my declaration, that very evening that my car was removed, stolen from in front of the place I live. And approximately an hour later, Mr. Moxon called and said that my belongings that were in the car would be returned. Obviously, he took the car. Earlier that evening, too, there was the operatives, Gene Ingram and his wife, that I could identify, were circling the block watching him remove. I did made. So that's tampering with, as far as I'm concerned, that's tampering with evidence.
I wish to thank everyone for their support. I think the church made a big mistake to take this step today. I think that mistake was evident in the body language of all those who are present in court, including Mr. Rinder, and especially Mr. Moxon, standing in the shadow of his evident criminal defense attorney, Mr. Shaliff. I believe that I have been judicially and legally lynched by a kangaroo court. I've made those arguments in evidence, and I repeat them today. I feel as though I am the character in the book Darkness at Noon, and that I have descended into a legal rabbit hole resembling Alice in Wonderland. As the Wall Street Journal editorial said last year in connection with Mr. Rosen obtaining a judgment against Mr. Henson, the law has been stood on its head today.
I actually felt that it was all predetermined before we even walked into the courtroom today. Mr. Moxon had told me straight out that Mr. Williams, Judge Williams, was a friend of Scientology, which is in my declaration. It was evident to me as a layman, not a lawyer, that it was pretty much all set up to go just the way it went down. Just more of the Church of Scientology's influence.
Finally, clearly, I have a major abuse of process claim against Mr. Moxon, Mr. Ingram, Mr. Hurtado, the church, and others who have participated in the corruption of justice, the obstruction of justice that was put upon the record of the court today. I would be happy to hear from any attorney who cares to either represent me or assist me in filing and bringing that action for abuse of process. And I am going to be putting my full faith in the American judicial system beyond this courtroom.